Hey everyone, and welcome to today's Explainer. We are jumping right into a massive, honestly game-changing shift happening right now in the world of medical aesthetics. For decades, the whole conversation around cosmetic procedures has been kind of polarized, right? But we're entering a totally new era. Today, we're unpacking some absolutely fascinating clinical and philosophical insights from Dr. Ayşe Kumaş about this sophisticated movement known as the French touch. So if you've ever been curious about how medical aesthetics is finally evolving to prioritize real, authentic, natural beauty, well, you are in the exact right place. Let me ask you, have you noticed lately that we seem to be seeing way fewer of those completely frozen or, homogenized faces out in the world? For the longest time, the biggest fear about getting any cosmetic procedure was that you'd walk out of the clinic looking like a completely different person or worse, like a carbon copy of some standardized artificial ideal. But right now, there's this incredible shift. We're moving away from those totally valid old-school fears of the overdone look toward a new, highly elegant reality that's just taking over clinics worldwide. We're literally witnessing the sunset of exaggeration.
All right, moving into Section 1, the shift in patient expectations, from transformation to alignment.
Okay, let's dive into this. Historically, the whole focus of traditional aesthetics was super heavy on alteration and exaggeration. The results often leaned pretty hard into artificial outcomes. That obvious, overfilled look that basically screamed, "Hey, I've had work done." Now contrast that with modern expectations. It's a complete 180. Today's patients are walking into clinics asking for restoration and harmony. They absolutely do not want to be transformed into someone else. They just want to look rested, refreshed, and inherently natural. It's no longer about getting a new face, it's about revitalizing your own.
Okay, Section 2, defining the French touch. Elegance, subtlety, and respect. So the French touch isn't just some trendy marketing buzzword. It is a rigorous clinical paradigm. It completely prioritizes elegance, subtlety, and most importantly, a really deep respect for your natural beauty. How does it do that? By enhancing features through incredibly minimal, highly precise adjustments. The entire framework here is designed to preserve your unique identity. It grounds this beautiful artistic concept in hard clinical reality, making sure any intervention is so sophisticated that the actual architecture of your face is honored, definitely not erased. So the crucial point is right here. The objective is not to alter, but to restore. That's the guiding principle behind Dr. Kumaş's insights. And honestly, this should be incredibly reassuring to anyone who's been a bit cautious about aesthetics. The goal is absolutely never to change your fundamental geometry. It's just to restore what time, or maybe the environment, has taken away. It's all about achieving this harmonious, luminous appearance that remains fiercely, authentically you. Which brings us to Section 3, the subtle aesthetic toolkit. Let's look at how the French touch actually works. Under this philosophy, a patient goes on a very specific chronological journey. It's basically a complete inversion of those old methods that used to just jump straight to Step 3. Here, Step 1 is to optimize skin quality first. Think about it. You'd never build a gorgeous house on a crumbling foundation, right? Before any volume is even considered, the tissue itself has to be healthy. Then, Step 2 is building structural support, making sure the deeper layers of your skin actually have density. And only then do we arrive at Step 3, adding subtle refinement. Because you prioritized a healthy foundation first, those eventual refinements look completely 100% natural.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it totally demystifies these treatments. Take baby Botox, for example. It uses a super low dose of botulinum toxin just to soften dynamic lines, but it deliberately keeps your facial expressivity intact. You can still frown. You can still look surprised. Then there's French lips, where the focus is entirely on hydration and proportional balance, completely tossing out that old trend of massive, puffy volume. Microfillers use incredibly conservative amounts just to refine contours without messing with your anatomy. And vector-based lifting repositions tissues along natural lines, rather than just pumping a face full of volume to stretch everything out. Every single one of these techniques fundamentally respects your tissue.
So building on that skin quality first principle we just talked about, this foundation is laid down using some highly targeted methods. Skin boosters and mesotherapy are all about deep hydration and tissue revitalization. Then you have collagen-stimulating treatments, which do the heavy lifting of improving dermal density over time. The ultimate goal, to optimize your tone, texture, and natural radiance. And the absolute most important part of this whole shebang is individualized treatment planning. Nothing is off the rack here. Every single intervention is perfectly tailored to your unique structural dynamics and anatomy.
All right, Section 4, the power of preventive care. Because when it comes to this stuff, timing is everything. And this brilliantly illustrates how early action changes the entire trajectory of how our faces age.
Early intervention isn't about trying to look 19 again. It's just about making subtle adjustments before the visible progression of aging really sets in. This naturally flows right into midterm preservation, where you're simply sustaining that awesome skin quality you've built. So, why does this matter? Well, by taking these really small, subtle steps early on, you actively minimize your need for those heavy, invasive, or super aggressive procedures later in life. It's a proactive approach to your beauty, rather than a frantic, reactive one.
Finally, we have Section 5, Authenticity over Perfection, Preserving Your Identity.
To really appreciate this modern shift, we have to talk about the very real risks of doing things the old way. We all know that excessive, high-volume treatments come with severe compromises. Overcorrection physically distorts your natural facial proportions. It literally attenuates or weakens your expressive individuality. Basically, the very things that make your face uniquely yours get erased. And that's exactly what leads to that homogenized standard appearance where suddenly everyone starts looking exactly the same. Contemporary aesthetic medicine, specifically through the French touch, actively fights against this.
Because the truth is, every single face embodies a totally unique interplay of genetic traits, muscular dynamics, and lived experience. A cookie-cutter approach totally fails because it completely ignores all of that. Your face tells your specific story. Medical interventions shouldn't ever aspire to force some standardized, trendy ideal onto you. They should only be used to reveal and enhance the most harmonious expression of the features you were born with. Modern aesthetics is about revealing your story, guys, not hiding it behind a mask of filler.
I absolutely love this quote from Dr. Kumash. Beauty is not synonymous with perfection, but with authenticity. It perfectly captures the whole philosophical vibe of the French touch. Real confidence? It doesn't come from total transformation. Actually, scratch that. It comes from alignment. It comes from looking in the mirror and seeing yourself, just in your most refined, rested, and balanced form. It's about deep self-acceptance, backed up by some incredibly subtle, amazing medical science.
So as we wrap things up today, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over. When you think about your own journey and your relationship with aging, what is your ultimate goal? Are you going to chase some impossible standard of transformation, or will you choose the path of alignment and truly discover and preserve your own natural beauty? The tools and the philosophies are finally here to support you in looking exactly like you, just the most luminous version. Thank you so much for hanging out with me to explore this incredible shift. Keep questioning, keep learning, and I will catch you on the next explainer.